Tonight on Texas News Primetime.
UT's former president returns to Austin, what he had to say about Texas' changing higher education landscape, and President Donald Trump's proposed compact for UT.
Several candidates for statewide office pitched themselves ahead of the 2026 midterm election. More on their remarks.
Mayor Kirk Watson appears alongside leaders from other major American cities, what he had to say about the city budget and affordability right here in Austin.
If you saw robots walking down Speedway last Thursday, you weren't going crazy. More on the robot parade coming up.
And a look inside UT's 44th Magical Dinner. This year's theme, the Sorcerer's Famine.
This is Texas News Primetime.
News made for Longhorns.
Good evening. For Monday, November 11th, I'm Mareva Valiere.
And I'm Aneesh Tiwari. Thank you for joining us tonight. The federal government reopened Wednesday night after Trump signed a funding bill passed by Congress, ending the record 43-day shutdown. The bill was passed by the House in a 222 to 209 vote and funds most agencies through January. The shutdown originally started over a dispute about whether to extend funding for healthcare subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. However, things may not return to normal right away. Air travel could remain slow and SNAP benefits may take time to get back to regular schedules. Federal workers who are working without pay will receive back pay, and notices sent during the shutdown are being reversed.
The annual Texas Tribune Festival took place in downtown Austin, attracting many politicians, activists, and other celebrities in a variety of events and panels.
This included a slew of candidates for statewide office, including Governor, Texas Attorney General, and the state's Senate seat. Emmy Adams joins us with more on these speakers.
Thank you, guys. On Thursday, the Democratic contenders for Texas governor discussed their platforms ahead of the 2026 election. State Representative from Austin, Gina Hinojosa, and entrepreneur Andrew White addressed the affordability crisis, reproductive rights, and immigration. Rep. Hinojosa says her first task, if elected, would be to end the corruption of the Abbott administration, while White says he will first fund pre-K for Texas children. Both intend to increase teacher salaries, which Hinojosa says she will accomplish by reallocating tax dollars, while White says he will legalize sports betting and gambling. The upcoming Senate race also received some attention during TribFest. James Tallarico and Colin Allred, two prominent Democratic candidates for Senate, spoke at the festival on two separate panels. During Colin Allred's talk, he openly criticized Tallarico for accepting donations from Miriam Adelson, a Trump megadonor, according to the Texas Tribune. Both candidates also criticized a small group of Democrats who defected from the party in reopening the government without securing extensions for healthcare subsidies. Subsidies which, if they expire, could result in higher premiums for millions of Americans. Four running for Texas Attorney General also made appearances this weekend. Democrats Joe Jaworski, a former Galveston mayor, and Texas Senator Nathan Johnson emphasized a need for the Democrats to meet the moment. They insist the Republican hold on Texas is weakening and that the Democrats now need a present candidate that can restore the integrity of the office.
I really would like to turn the General's office into something that works for the people rather than one that is trying to get headlines to advance one political party's now very, very tenuous hold on this state.
While both Democrats ran on accountability, there was a stark contrast between the two Republican candidates on the field. While State Senator Joan Huffman boasted her loyalty to traditional conservative values and promised to uphold a conservative budget, her opponent, former DOJ prosecutor Aaron Reitz, played up his past support from President Donald Trump and incumbent Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton.
Jose Garza will be target number one when I'm elected Attorney General. At the same time, Sean Tier in Harris County, two of the most crooked and corrupt and pro-criminal district attorneys in the United States of America. I will seek their removal almost immediately when I take office.
President Trump has not officially weighed in on the Texas Attorney General race. Primary election day for both parties is March 3rd. The last day to register to vote is February 2nd. Live in the studio, Emmy Adams, TSTV News. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Amy. Also at TribFest this weekend, Austin Mayor Kirk Watson touched on affordability and challenges facing the city of Austin. This comes after residents overwhelmingly voted against the property tax hike. Proposition Q Watson says this signals residents valuing affordability and promises the city will be more transparent and efficient with how it manages its tax dollars.
You have to make sure that if the county is spending money on X and we're also spending money on X, we figure out we both need to be spending money on X, and how do we do that the right way?
Watson added he wants the city to work closely with other localities like Travis County to reduce redundant spending, while still giving public services like parks and libraries the funding they need. TripFest also brought a familiar race back to Austin, as former UT President Jay Hartzell sat down for one-on-one on Thursday. And Aneesh, you were actually at Hartzell's talk.
I was. Hartzell touched on his move to SMU, looked back at his time at UT, and was asked whether he would sign President Trump's compact. A full house was in attendance at the Texas Tribune Festival to hear from former UT President Jay Hartzell, who held top position in the tower for 5 years before stepping down and becoming president at Southern Methodist University earlier this June. In one of the most anticipated topics of the hour-long session, Hartzell was asked if he would sign President Trump's higher ed funding compact. His reply, he says he hasn't looked close enough at the terms to have a stance.
I went to the dentist, got my blood pressure taken after I had made the change, and I was 115/73. And at UT, pre-protest, I was 140/90. So all this kind of compact, all that stuff,
I don't know, leave
okay.
UT, lower your blood pressure. Doesn't sound like
8 out of the 9 universities who were sent the compact have rejected it. UT is the only one who has not yet announced its decision. Hartzell was also asked about UT's handling of pro-Palestine protests in April of 2024. Looking back, he stands behind his decision to send police to stop the encampment on the South Mall.
Could we have communicated better about it? I think so. But if you go back to the decision itself about, do you let students take over the main mall and build an encampment?
you think it was the right call.
I think that was the right call.
Yeah.
At the end of the session, the floor was open to audience questions. UT senior Spencer Terry, who is a member of University Democrats, asked a follow-up question to Hartzell's answer on the protests. Terry said he believed it was important for Hartzell to hear from a student about the issue.
And I feel like that just had to be addressed, like at least just, from a student. It was important enough to not just let them have a pass on it and not be challenged.
For TSTV News, I'm Aneesh Tiwari.
To read more from Hartzell's session, head to tstvnews.com for the web story. Austin ISD has released a new plan to close 10 schools before next year, a move the district says is necessary to address declining enrollment and growing debt. The Board of Trustees is set to vote on the plan on Thursday. The proposal includes shuttering 8 elementary schools and 2 middle schools. The district has delayed a separate vote on closing 3 other elementary campuses and on district-wide attendance zone changes until next year. If approved, over 3,700 students would be reassigned and over 6,000 empty seats will be eliminated.
Tuesday's Pizza and Politics event gathered students in the LBJ conference room. The 2 guest speakers, Dr. Ross Hunt and Dr. Sergio Garcia-Rios, were asked questions by the moderator about voting trends between different races, genders, and ages, what early signs are saying for the 2026 election, and what to expect from different candidates.
What did move the Hispanic and Latino vote all across the United States of America, but especially in South Texas, was 2 issues: immigration and the economy.
After the talk, there was a Q&A where students could ask their own questions about politics. This event is held once a month, so if you're interested, keep an eye out for the next meeting. And the Hook'em Horns hand symbol just celebrated its 70th anniversary on November 11th. The tradition began in 1955 when the head cheerleader, Harley Clark, declared it as the official hand sign for UT Pep Rally right before a football game against TCU. The Hook'em Horns hand symbol is meant to approximate the shape of the head and the horns of Bevo. As of today, the hand sign symbolizes the unity of students, alumni, and anyone who is a Texas fan to show their support for our school.
When we come back, the P3 program is back at Jester Residence Hall. What that means for students.
And Texas Robotics takes the Speedway. PrimeTime will be right back. Welcome back to Primetime. Last Tuesday, the Chester West Residence Hall re-implemented the P3 program. P3, which stands for the Period Product Program, provides free period products to residents. The program was previously shut down by University Housing and Dining, but the Chester West Hall Council voted to re-implement it. Stations with period products can be found in every women's community bathroom at Chester West. Proponents say the P3 program aims to build a more supportive and accessible community on campus.
A new trailhead opened on Saturday at the Violet Crown Trail near Zilko Park. The Hill Country Conservancy hosted a ribbon cutting ceremony with the Austin Parks and Recreation Department. The trailhead, called Mile Zero, is complete with a new archway, benches, and a butterfly pavilion. Mayor Kirk Watson also attended the ceremony and voiced his optimism for the future of Austin trails. The IHCC hopes to extend the 13-mile trail to be around 30 miles in the future. Students in the Texas Robotics program got a chance to show off their work on Thursday. Their robots marched down Speedway with Hook'em and UT Palm, doing choreographed dances and live demonstrations. TSTV News' Christina Krasnova looks at this annual robot parade and what it means to the robotics students.
If you've noticed the couch robot throughout campus, you're seeing the work of Texas Robotics in action. This organization marched their work through campus, showing everything from bots on wheels to bots on legs. This is a humanoid robot, which is rare to have. They also have a robot dog and a robot that supports amputees by preventing further ailments.
This is one of my favorite days of the year. I love seeing the community get together. I love showcasing the work that my students and faculty are working on all year long.
The goal for these robotics students is to make their work more lifelike and to keep bringing in more smiling faces to their events.
So we're hoping next year we'll have something even bigger and better.
PhD robotics student Kayla Brand says that because the program is so new, students might not know how to get involved.
These robots have won the championship before and even had the UT Tower lit up orange for them.
Namely the undergraduate research assistantships where students can get paid to work with these robots.
This kind of shows them what's possible and might get them excited to pursue this field.
Other robots can also talk using large language models like ChatGPT, setting up even greater advances ahead.
So we really are at the cutting edge of innovation and technology right now, and I would say robotics is the thing of the future, but it's that future is now.
For TSTV News, I'm Christina Krasnova.
If you couldn't make it to this event, don't worry. There will also be a robotics symposium on March 3rd and 4th that will give students a closer look at the academic side of robotics. Last week, the Entertainment and Events hosted their 49th annual Madrigal Dinner.
Daniel Davila joins us live with more on the story.
Thanks, Mareva and Aneesh. About the event, it's an immersive Renaissance dinner show that has been an annual tradition since about the 80s, with this one being their 44th show. There is a cast and choir working together to make the play come to life, and in between acts, the audience can eat and interact with some of the characters that pass by their seats. The title for this year's Magical Dinner is The Sorcerer's Famine. I had the opportunity to ask a main cast member about why it's important for people to show up, and here's what he had to say.
It's got humor, it's got wit, and it's just a community. It's a cultural community event. People come together for one purpose and work together as a family.
Well, that sounds like a fun way to relax. Can you tell us a bit more on the process of how the play comes to life?
Yeah, so it's typically produced and created by students. So the students will write the scripts, and a crew of students and actors come together and produce the show, taking around a couple weeks to finish. The stories follow traditional storytelling where there's a type of villain or evil as the good tries to overcome their struggles and then defeat the villain in the end.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Daniel. When we come back, storms ahead right before Thanksgiving break. More on Austin's weather next.
And the Horns fall to the Georgia Bulldogs in Athens. Primetime will be right back. Welcome back to Primetime.
A rainy game day may be on Austin's horizon. Zion Tesfaye is here with all you need to know in this week's weather. How are you doing today, Zion?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Great, thank you.
Love to hear it. Good evening, Austin. For tomorrow, November 18, we're starting the day with lows near 73 degrees under cloudy skies through the morning. And by midday, we'll reach a high of around 85 degrees. Winds will be from the south at 7 miles per hour with humidity at 70%, meaning that conditions are seasonably wet. Heading into the evening, partly cloudy skies will become overcast later during the night, and temperatures slide back into the 70s. Looking at our 7-day forecast, we're looking at some rainy days to close off this week and into the first weekend of Thanksgiving break. To start the week, highs will stay in the low 80s and high 70s with a humidity at a constant 70%. Wednesday kicks off a rainy week with light showers in the evening, and a good reminder to grab our umbrellas for Thursday, where we see thunderstorms all day long with some gusty winds. Friday seems more tame as we have a few showers in the morning and stay partly cloudy till the afternoon, and maybe a few late night showers. We continue our rainy days until the weekend as both Saturday and Sunday are predicted to have some rain.
Thanks, Zion, for bringing us on Austin weather.
Of course.
When we come back, Texas women's basketball continues their winning streak, while the men's team begins theirs.
And Billie Eilish makes her Moody Center debut. Primetime will be right back.
Welcome back to Primetime.
A dramatic loss for Texas football this weekend, but stunning moves from volleyball and men's and women's basketball. Louis Perez has the latest for Press Box on Primetime. How are you doing today, Louis?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to get into what we have today.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend across Texas athletics, with action happening in almost every sport. But we start with the biggest story of all, Texas football, which hit the road for a major test in Athens. Louis, what can you tell us?
Fresh off a high-stakes showdown in Athens, the Texas Longhorns wrapped up a tough night against the Georgia Bulldogs, falling 35-10 in a game that tested every part of their identity. Texas showed bright moments, especially early in the third quarter when they tightened the score and looked poised to build momentum, and the team's competitive stretches in a hostile road environment offered valuable experience. However, the turning point came in the fourth quarter, where Georgia outscored the Longhorns 21-0, capitalizing on missed opportunities and a noticeable dip in Texas' focus on both sides of the ball. Offensively, the Longhorns struggled to sustain drives, and defensively, they couldn't match Georgia's tempo and execution in the closing stages. Looking ahead, Texas must regroup quickly by tightening situational play, improving consistency across all four quarters, and addressing gaps exposed in this loss. The season is still wide open, and if the Longhorns can reclaim their intensity and sharpen their execution, they remain capable of making a strong push as they move forward.
Well, hopefully football can shape up quick. On a positive note, how has volleyball been looking as of late?
Texas volleyball had a packed weekend, starting with a nail-biter on the road at Auburn. The Longhorns jumped out to a 2-0 lead before Auburn battled back to force a fifth set, but Texas steadied themselves and closed it out 15-9, behind a massive career-high 32 kills from Torrey Stafford. Back home against South Carolina, the Longhorns were sharper, taking the match 3-1 and finishing hitting 520 hitting percentage in the final set. The good news is Texas showed toughness in both matches, surviving a momentum swing at Auburn and then controlling the pace against South Carolina. The not so good news is that the lapses in focus still shows up at times, especially when holding leads, and cleaning that up will be key heading into the postseason. Still, with 2 wins and plenty of momentum, the Longhorns head into the next stretch looking confident, battle-tested, and ready to make a strong push.
Volleyball is looking stronger than ever, it seems. However, 2 other teams are looking strong. How is basketball shaping up so far?
For Sean Miller's new team, the Texas Longhorns handled Kansas City Roos 71-55 at home, buoyed by a 13-point outing from Dalen Swain and 12 points, plus 8 rebounds from Matias Vargas. But they still looked rusty, shooting just 39% overall and only 20% from the three-point line. Meanwhile, Madison Booker and the women's team steamrolled the Texas Southern Lady Tigers 111-45, getting hot from deep, with 6 players in double figures and forcing 33 turnovers that accounted for half their points. What went well? Well, the men locked down defensively when it mattered the most, and on the women's side, they attacked in waves and dominated from start to finish. What didn't look so hot, the men struggled to shoot and nearly let Kansas City back in the game. For the women, they still look dominant and they still want to improve from the free throw line. Even in a blowout, looking ahead, both squads have momentum. Men's basketball must sharpen their offense and maintain consistency if they're going to face tougher foes. And Vic Schaefer's squad will aim to carry this blowout confidence into tighter matchups while tightening minor details.
Well, thanks, Luis, for keeping us up to date on all things sports. When we come back, a fan incident at the week for good premiere in Singapore. What happened? Plus the verdict.
And Netflix opened its first entertainment venue in Philadelphia. What viewers can expect for the future of Netflix. PrimeTime will be right back.
Welcome back to Primetime.
A pop star takes the stage in Austin in an incident at a high-profile red carpet premiere. Samantha Beltran is here to talk about what you need to know in music, movies, and more. How are you doing today, Samantha?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Last week, Billie Eilish made her Moody Center debut with 2 sold-out shows on November 13th and 14th during her Hit Me Hard and Soft tour, with Austin being her only stop in Texas. Opening the night was indie pop band Men I Trust, before Eilish hit the stage. The setlist included performances of songs from her latest album, as well as older songs including Bad Guy, Ocean Eyes, and Everything I Wanted. Eilish also performed a live cover of the jazz classic Cry Me a River by Ella Fitzgerald on Thursday.
And have you attended a concert at the Moody Center before?
No, I haven't, but recently they've had a lot of great artists, like Tame Impala was there, Billie Eilish was there, Maroon 5. So I definitely love to go in spring. I know Mountjoy's going. I think that would be a fun one to go to. So definitely on my agenda for 2026. On Thursday, the Singapore premiere of Wicked for Good took place. As co-stars Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo entered, a man rushed the carpet and jumped on Grande, attempting to grab her. Erivo quickly inserted herself between Grande and the man and yelled at him,
beating security to the scene. This man was quickly identified as Johnson Wen, who goes by Pajama Man on social media. He is known for crashing celebrity events. In June, he jumped on stage during a Katy Perry concert, and in August, he did the same at a concert by The Weeknd. Wen pleaded guilty to a charge of being a public nuisance and will be facing 9 days in jail.
Well, despite all this chaos, Wicked for Good is coming out on November 21st. Are you excited to see it?
I'm very excited to see it. I'm a big Wicked fan. I loved it on Broadway and the movie. And the movie definitely ended on a cliffhanger, so I'm excited to see what happens on November 21st. Netflix House had their first opening in Philadelphia on November 12th. Netflix House is an entertainment venue where fans can engage with their favorite shows and movies through in-person experiences. One of the current featured experiences has a series of games and rides based on the hit show Wednesday. The site also has VR games, a theater, and mini golf with various shows as options to engage with. There is also a restaurant called Netflix Bites with menu items themed around popular Netflix shows. The next location will be opening close to home at the Galleria Dallas Mall on December 11th.
And what are you most excited to see at the Netflix House?
I think the Wednesday interactive experience would be really great. And I know at all locations they're going to have a theater, so it would be really cool to see a premiere there. I know they're going to start doing that for a lot of Netflix shows, so I'm excited to go to one of those, hopefully in Dallas.
Well, thanks, Samantha, for bringing us up to date on all things entertainment.
And that's your Monday briefing. For more before our next show, be sure to follow Texas News Primetime on social media.
And check out our website at tstvnews.com.
Signing off, I'm Mareva Valiere.
And I'm Aneesh Tiwari. From all of us at TSTV News, thank you for watching.
Now go out and change your world.